Well, to start with a really big headline figure, it's estimated that about 10 million people are dying prematurely every year around the globe because of the effects of air pollution. And that is an almost unfathomably large number. It's death at the scale of the Holocaust every single year. And while it's morally different in many profound ways, I think we are really unfortunately distracted from the scale of the suffering that air pollution produces. The causes are different in different parts of the world, and the impacts are different, such that in a place like the US, which has relatively clean air by global standards, still we're seeing something like 350,000 Americans dying every year, in part as a result of air pollution, and that's death equivalent to the amount of Americans who passed away from COVID in the first year of the pandemic. But the impacts are much darker and more striking elsewhere in the world, as you mentioned, most dramatically across South Asia and indeed in India. And the causes there are multiple, but the most significant one is, the two most significant ones are the burning of fossil fuels, particularly coal. For every 1,000 people that get electricity from the burning of coal every year, one dies. And agricultural burning, which we've stopped doing much of in places like the US and Europe, but which is still a relatively common practice in other parts of the world. It's one of the reasons, one of the ways that the Amazon has been deforested in Brazil as well. Across India, on average, lifespans have been reduced by this air pollution by 6 years, which means this is a country of more than 1 billion people. And on average, every single one of them will have 6 less lives of life thanks to the effect of air pollution. And in parts of India, as I mentioned earlier, including Delhi, the number gets up to 9 and even 10 years of life lost. In that city, you have something like half of all children suffering some amount of lung impairment thanks to the pollution.